Chapter 20: Convert Local Discovery into Global Improvement by Group 4, Zach Allen, Charlotte Foster, and Ron Silva. In this chapter, we're going to talk about the use chat rooms and chat booths to automate and capture organizational knowledge, automate standardized process in software for reuse, create a single shared sources code repository for our entire organization, spread knowledge by using automated tests and documentation and communities of practice, designed for operation through codified non-functional requirements, build resolveless operation, use story and development, ensure technology should help achieve organizational goals. Use chat rooms and chat booths to automate and capture organizational knowledge. An important part of the companies are the chat rooms, where it's possible to have a communication between the team and share information. Automating this chat helps us to manage the chat room in more effective and fun way. For this, a tool called Hubot allow automating many tasks through the group chat. Hue is a popular product in software development companies, made and commanded by GitHub. Hubot allows you to automate many tasks through your group chat and help to improve the employee efficiency. Hubot allows to get constant update from the GitHub GitLab about your code, monitoring the status of the application without leaving the chat room. Use the boot to record daily activity and extract meaningful statistics from chat room interactions. Uses an announcement tool to relay a message to all the rooms. Uses a live chat pad, dashboard, and assign tasks and deadline on the go. Automated standardized process in software for reuse. Most of the time the processes are created in Word document and are stored in files so that people can use it whenever it's necessary. But sometimes those documents are lost or people can't find where they are stored or many person can modify by accident. One of the way to improve this process is to creating the code and procedures in repositories like those used by GitHub. In this repository, it's possible to share the procedure with all the people who want to use them. It's possible to access them easily in any place where we are. By encoding our manual process into the code that is automated and executed, we enable the process to be widely adopted, providing value to anyone who uses them.
One of the most effective ways to incorporate learning and knowledge throughout an organization is to make use of a shared source code repository. Google is a good example of this. By 2015, their shared code repository contained over 1 billion files and over 2 billion lines of code. When everyone commits their updates and information to a shared repository, this information instantly becomes available globally. This allows others in the organization to leverage the expertise gained by others. The codebase is easily accessed and available for review or update. The shared repository isn't just for code. It should also be used to store other useful artifacts such as configuration standards, deployment tools, testing standards and tools, deployment pipeline tools, monitoring and analysis tools, tutorials, and standards. By storing all this knowledge in one place and making it globally available, knowledge is propagated throughout the organization. Lastly, having a single repository lends to keeping one version of this knowledge, which reduces risk and operational burdens. Other ways to spread knowledge are to use automated tests as documentation and incorporating certain communities of practice in our organization. Shared libraries with suites of automated testing are self-documenting. They are instructive to engineers wanting to understand application functionality. This is especially true when using test-driven development. These test suites become living, up-to-date specifications of the system. Assigning a single owner or team to be responsible for supporting each of these libraries is a good practice that will centralize where the expertise and knowledge reside. Another effective practice is to use discussion groups or chat rooms for each library. This will make it easier to access information specific to those libraries. When developers follow their work downstream, they get a better understanding of the kinds of issues operations face. Developers should try to identify ways to improve their code to satisfy the various non-functional requirements that exist. Examples of non-functional requirements are sufficient production telemetry in our applications and environments, the ability to accurately track dependencies, services that are resilient and degrade gracefully, forward and backward compatibility between versions, the ability to archive data to manage the size of the production dataset, the ability to easily search and understand log messages across services, the ability to trace requests from users through multiple services, simple centralized runtime configuration using feature flags, and so forth. Services built with these non-functional requirements in mind will become easier, quicker, and safer to deploy.
In operations, there's sometimes work that can't be fully automated, but there's a few things we can do to speed up those processes. The first thing we want to do is standardize the work as much as we can. When we standardize things, it just makes it easier to do it manually. And then we want to document everything, which will allow us to plan better and do everything the best way possible. And there's some tools we can use, such as Rundeck, Jira, and ServiceNow that can help with that, with the planning and documentation. So unsupported technologies will inevitably slow things down. They'll slow down the workflow. So the first thing we want to do is identify all the technology that's slowing down work and remove the problematic technologies from the infrastructure. And that can be hard sometimes because there can be some really good technologies, but maybe they're just not working out with our system. Then they probably need to go. In 2010, Etsy did just this and moved their entire platform to PHP and MySQL. And they retired some really great technologies, but at the same time, they standardized everything on their system. So even though they had to get rid of some great systems, they ended up making everything faster, making the workflow better. So to conclude, we've talked about using chat rooms and chatbots, automating processes for reuse, creating a single shared source code, spreading knowledge using automated tests, documentation, and communities of practice, designing for operations through codified non-functional requirements, building reusable operations under user stories into dev, and ensuring the technology choices help reach company goals. Any questions?